So, hello everyone.
Tani tringa so George tere legend re ta magya chiti korle re ta so legend re korle chuje tani ti so yona ma legend re korle chuje tani ti so chona anda magya chiti chingwa chochi chiro ti so ma chona nabji kama samchin raw nation raw tani shene ni chawa chale re.
Well, so first of all, welcome everyone to the Ask a Monk session. We have every Sunday here, and today usually we start this Ask a Monk, even though the name is Ask a Monk, but usually we start with a very brief talk about some topic that is useful for the daily routine. It's here?
Yes,
I don't know. And so today we are going to talk a little bit about the law of karma and how it affects in our daily routine, and also talk just go a little bit in the non-virtuous actions. Well, I have a plan to speak just for 30 minutes, and then we open for any kind of questions. Any kind can be related or not related to the topic of today. Okay?
Last one, tanda nanshu nani shepi legend rezeate. Calendar go oritate she or the Katani legend the linga tata solia share yoreta suit. Same Kyanyare, same Gongoni legend Shegore.
So today we are going to talk about karma. So usually what means karma? So karma is the actions that we take with our three doors. But mainly the most important karma that we consider in our daily life is the mental karma. So if it's the mental karma, the mental actions that we take, means that we can relate karma as the mind.
Last Otani, Matso Nachu Nala. Same that Samlo that Dodochi Majawa, Yea Mombochi or two same tricks there, same Jong up Chinachi there, and Mombochi Shevinani, Tanda lazy at the Tinang, same Jong Chilling on the Cheore, same Jong Sembaziaching on the Cheore.
Well, and so first of all, since it's mind, so karma, since it's mind, mind means like the way of thinking. If it's the way of thinking, we have many ways of explaining what is the way of thinking. So even like we can present the mind or the consciousness of way of thinking in the way of like mind, the main mind and the secondary minds, the mental, which we call mental factors and so forth. So we have many ways of presenting them. And among the main mind and mental factors or secondary mind, we have one mind that is called like the intention. And so this intention we can relate as being the karma.
Last Otani, Tinang same Jong Sembazi, they are the candidate you want to close it. Tangato, Samlo Tama Leka Courage, and a tea capsule Deni Samlo Chilong on the Pena Mota Tanya Korkatel Karlar, the Koreaching Doteta with same Tama gave each all Kajana, Magave Chol Kajana, Perbi Chol Kajana, or the Kajal Kit, the Nichilong on the Cheore.
Okay, we have this mental factor or the secondary mind that calls intention. What means intention? Upon the intention that we generate before taking any actions, is upon this intention is that the actions that we will take goes to the virtuous or non-virtuous actions. Like it's sort of the driver of our action, just like the driver of a car. If the driver turns to the right, so where goes the car? To the right and so forth.
Last Otani, Tangaso legend the Logion Chen and Zegona telling Yamon Chawalazo, Nabjan Yankam Samal, Chimio sons, Chim da Chipandachiore, Chim ze de at the Carrezeti, so Chim de Yapojikana, so the song capture, no Machama, the song capture, Chimgarcheni, Chim de Yapochi Masona, Chimgus Pemata Maza no Tigre, legendary songs they are there, Chipa Tinder watching Rovore.
And if you can compare our the law of karma with the roles of a country, just like if we live in a country and we do respect the roles or the conduct of the moral conduct of that country, so there is nothing that we can feel like fear and so forth, because if you do things exactly as the conduct of that country, so nothing bad will happen with us. Likewise, if we understand the law of karma, the actions that we take, naturally we understand what will come after. So if we do everything good, and so things will also happen in the same level.
That been a jicte copa po kelenke, Tendida watching that Tama Hako Wacheri, Kitani nga so meet so koncho ko zo jaga tenri reta tani matsetel so so ya po che gore yana so so dikcha che gre so so ya po ta chena jima koncho ko chong ya ki ni de ki nyo ta dik po chena nya wala ma ki ndo ya tenri she ndo o ate ma to koncho ko ya dik chama ta ko ran che yo ki mare ma to tani nga so le ya dik che ga wan cha kyo ni yo mar nga so le te le wan cha chi yo pa na le gem je na chu li sha pi le gem je ta jikte ko pa po koncho ta keleng yo mar ki wala thoma me pa ni so so ga sam lo ran chin je te na je chama le ya tu me je in chu min chi nya wal ma za ni ka ti na de de yo mar ya ji ma ya to yo re ta thar tik thar ba ya ya to so na ne na bi chu ni she na zenda teni de ke tama dan da koncho ko jon li ki ni jikte ko pa po keleng ke ta chi pan ro chi re ma to jen Tiparul Korajani Samsam Mata Yapondo, and Samsam Nason that Macho, what and she did, or thing Pajanishin and
Well, sometimes like we believe in a law of karma that is the origin of all of this existence is the karma, right? But some of the other philosophies they do believe that the origin of all of this world and people and so forth is God because we are created by God. Nothing against this belief, but this belief is very important or very beneficial in order to, because I do believe in Creator God, I do believe in God, and so I have to respect and follow His advice and so forth. If I do wrong, and so maybe I go to the hell. If I do wrong, right, maybe I go to the heaven and so forth. But like because this is the wish of God and so forth, but actually it's out of our own actions. So likewise, even though like if you believe in God or not, right? Like depend on your not destiny, but the result of your actions actually comes in the same level of the cause of the nature of the cost of the actions that you created. And so that's why like if you do right, and so definitely the result will come in the same level and so forth. And we, for example, we don't believe in God, but we do believe that that our existence is like there's no beginning. There's no beginning. Why? Because we came from beginningless lives and beginningless karma creation of karma. And out of this beginningless creation karma is that impelled our existence and so forth. Of course, like this is an infinite line from before, but doesn't mean that has an infinite line until the end. Why not? Because you have a hope. There is a hope of getting rid of this suffering existence. There is when you achieve the state called liberation, right? And so when you are finally completely free from this suffering, and so you achieve a state of or nirvana or Buddhahood, like the liberation state, and this liberation state is unchangeable in the sense of you don't follow again to the bad path and so forth. But besides this, when you're still like cycling under the force of the karmas, and so sometimes yes, out of your own actions, you can take a sort of life in a bad conditions and good conditions. For this reason, what is important to know that if you did wrong, you follow to a bad state of life or have some problems. But until this finished, and then if you do right, so you have a hope to again go to a better state. Okay.
That's ani ta kirtani nambi gna letel ngon ro chani chenana geva zia chita magevili ta loma tang lezini samshare ta so tes ko de pon rawra leka ya pon ro chena gevili kon ro leka dikchan ro chena magevili kon ro re Tati paru ke tagasa zanto kyo samla so pa jelano pa me chishra pento me le katindria chungore tel loma tankling once chegore.
Of course, we have many ways of presenting karma, right? And depending on the actions that you do, if it's a good action, so you are collecting good virtuous karma. And if your actions is not that nice, and so of course the actions that the karma that you are collecting is unvirtuous. Negative karma, and in case you are doing some action or activity that is not even beneficial, not also harmful, and so that actions transform to a neutral karma. So there's many ways of understanding karma.
Also, for example,
if you see just the unvirtuous karma,
tanda magevile tawachi sawayena chim da chikpan rawachi yore chimla sawla tanda pena socha chik seba ina nambi nani dikpanda wo chik ngonza che tonda kar rezina tomar sendo ka karlong chik ke ore lega karlinel karlong chik po te munga ma ke na ko teza nipa chongwa re tala gyora zegre nipa tala ngus pasha ko soche ja tandi yore tala ngus zegre nipa tare samba tala tama tangi se top sonsa ni gawa gomba tandi rawo chik samle gore tatso tsama tsansong na lo top chesho tandi ni tsa mongma song na lo top chongwa 이나야 간 체정치를 내마 그런데 촌이면이가 sonrchi che jona de ko yambo sigore chimda chipari chumji ke yangaso motan ji tani donita hama ko ni mi se jana chumtoni te ni ba che ayo mar samz ke mendan ji ki soni mi se na ni ba che ayo re te da chipand ji songo yore.
So let's talk about like an virtuous actions or a bad karma. Okay, one example, like the strongest bad karma is to kill other lives, right? To take the lives of other beings. And so if we take the life of other beings, but if we have like intention, if intentionally you took the life of someone else, if first of all, if you generate the motivation, like you wanted to do that, and then you could accomplish the killing action, so definitely the karma that you accumulated is with one sort of strength. Then after you killed, the nipa karisa kulunchik tamba ani mushi. And then if you first of all you generate the motivation, just by generating the motivation, I want to kill that being or that person, so forth. Just by generating that motivation, you already accumulate the bad action, okay, the bad karma. Second, if you really accomplish the killing process, like if you really killed that being, then you generate the same karma, but with a different strength, like stronger. Then if not only that, after you killed that person or that being, you rejoiced, oh, I did right. And so the strength of that karma is even bigger. Ani tama khersan?
Tama to njikle ta gawan raw kumata ndisi se top son.
Oh, let's say.
Dimita chi.
Oh, Dimita. Okay, just this way. Okay. And so, Ani, so these three stages are the stages of the strength of the karma, right? It's just like a role or a moral conduct or a role of a country. So depending on the motivation of the action, the proper completion of the action, and the rejoice in that action, and then the strength of the karma is different. Just like a conduct or a role of a law of the country. So depending on so many factors, and so you have a bigger or smaller like penalty and so forth. And of course sometimes we do engage in killing other beings, but without having the motivation, for example just walking and so forth. And so you do collect bad merit, you do accumulate bad karma in that moment, but with a strength much smaller. When it's
last one that that ki tombo shia na je chim de chik pare ze an rawo na so then you le sa ta so nya ma kien ro ta kom cho ya chong le yan ro ta so de na sang ji cho den din ro chi na nga so lap ton chia ni pa chi ma to teni ta so lo wan ji chia ni pa na chu ke leng yo mare nya wa ke na ya so le ka ma ji ni nya wa ke gre pe na mi chi chum li to so na so le ka che ni ma ji ni chum la to pare ma to chong pel ndia yo mare te na jin da chi pare te yak po che ni yakpoji chayina so metsena leka le tonda ta manda wa chi metsin chi bol mari metsenga manga mal kiwa ngama sama jakre ma to oti leka che ta ndrma ndrik goni nya ma kya dendo yandro ma to ti gyabni so le gemre so Tenzin che ni kon chonda wa tindri ta namba keling mari.
Not particularly. Of course, like in the Buddhist point of view, right, in the Buddhist psychological point of view, we don't believe that it's out of the wish of the Creator God that we go to the hell or we go to the heaven and so forth. Of course, we don't believe this, but we do believe that it's true that we can go to the hell and we can go, yes, to the heaven. This end or this form of life that we can take rebirth, this exists, yes, but it's out of what? It's out of the nature of the actions that we took that before in the previous life of lives and so forth. So out of the nature of the actions that you usually abide on, and then the result of this is either like happiness or bad experiencing within this very life, or the next future lives and form of lives and so forth.
Tendri tanga so namba chi yin chi chel tendri go le gyam re de shu ji khelen de gore tendri khelen bala teni so so ya po chena tarbata tam chen gyam ba ya to wa to de po chena nya wala so pa ma ke wala teni ma se tel so so le gyam re chimbo ka te khelen ba te cham gala le ka ta so la za za shu cheni ta yong ge chol shor ma chi ni yon den ge chol shor chi ga tendri che gore te che ya tiang so so ye che ran re ma to ta ha ko nye yo che re mo nga ta wa chi na ta mo mo chi ko Moni Likim Retan says, Kiwangap, Tata, Sami Chok de Resina, Tini Chotogo Marta, Yichi Ranchin in Rore. That's Sami Martin, Yichi in a Kupan to Marivetich, Yohamak was in the Kupach, the Ran in Yamari Samudunga, so Matsenal, Leka Mombochi, Yichi Latini Rogore, Pena Tomban Jamna, Jima Soso, Kepsan Chimboji Rawa, Yichi, Tonja Yore Matoko, Jonra Samnita, not on the Yagumari, then now such a children Jonayon. Penanga dilin to children drogo nanga togo motanon is on dilil legres and yichi ni motanon rojakare. The yichi telatini leka the chess one latini, Mitsama Gasha in drum draw, the Kashin and Drogo, that's one jamna the Gasha and Drogo for out and such a children drogo, alla Pachi Gasha Gupchikoga, Drotora, in a tombo pony, such a televas Hakoima.
It became a little bit longer. Huh? Let's try to recollect everything. Okay. So yes, and so we do believe in, and we Buddhists, like we do believe in law of karma, and if it's not just like mere having faith and so forth, like we do like think this and again, and we live our daily routine on the top of this truth, on top of, well, there's the law of karma. So that's the reason that just by like really understanding that it has this law of karma, like there is this energetical cyclic existence of depending on the actions that you commit, and then the result is going to be exactly the same level because of this truth that we understand that this exists. And so we try to live our daily routine in a much more like we take care of our actions, we try to recollect, we try to fix anything that is wrong and so forth. Why? Because we know that if we do something with a bad motivation, with a bad action, definitely something will come in more or less the same nature, now or in the next life, no problem. It's gonna come. Likewise, if I really want to get liberated, if I want to achieve liberation, what means liberation? Out of suffering. Who doesn't want to live without suffering? So if I want to live in this state, and so definitely my actions has to be also to the virtuous side. So because we do believe this, and so we try to live our life in a more careful way and so forth. And of course, even like we do believe that there is this law. But we cannot like have directly experience, like we cannot, out of these actions we have this result in this day, like as long as we are ordinary beings, we don't have the direct realization of this result, but at least we have a very gross understanding, and we do believe that it's like that. So out of this belief we drive our conduct and our lives during the whole time, as long as we are alive here. Just like, for example, how to say, if you have a commerce, if you have a shop, sort of, like you do your best in order to have the better result, even if you don't have the best result in the short or long term and in medium term. At least you do your best because you believe that good action will bring you good result. Likewise, like it's not that they have to see directly the result now, but they do. They are driven by belief. They are driven by the correct belief. Likewise, if you do understand that there is this, that we all work within this law of karma understanding, and so definitely this will drive you to a better state of life in the future.
Dukpan rawota tatso the kanji sayung go residi nyomomba hongi sakayore ze oreta nyomomba changa mombe yopinani pena control tawa chigla chena pena ta yon chian chil pe jana yasar pena socho patawa chil chena gashi chato cheni soche yores gashi control cheni soche yores gashi ndo chala teni soche ores pena pasho ko shazan do cheni soche ondi ku shala chani je ore mu ko manye ba chi che o mare ni soche pa ya control ta ina pasho ni chi maga wa chi cheni so so la teni cheni na tsawa ti sona chadani la teni soche pa magevili teni ores.
In order to see how this affects in our daily life, okay, let's try to take one example. Let's take one unvirtuous action as an example. Let's say, again, like the killing action, okay? So the killing action, of course, is non-virtue, is negative. But if you understand that any kind of non-virtuous actions is taken under the force of the affliction. And so there are many kinds of affliction. So let's take, for example, you just kill someone under the force of either anger, either attachment, either arrogance, either jealousy, and so forth. And even like killing a cow, you just kill a cow because you're attached to the taste of that meat, right? Or you can kill someone by the force of the anger and so forth. And so any kind of unvirtuous actions that you take is just out of the kindness of the bad states of mind or afflictions.
Also, sonza naso dukpa masawat sa nyomon bichani ngortab che go yore zeore pena control tawichin ngortab che tu sona control ti wangi sorche pata mala tsina pola pala so pikyo mombo chingortba maze so yan ke po yore te mene kati ina control changja cheni jodena so trashing paria zia mandu na tsa zo zia mandu tenji nga so ha ko de aga mase ke po me at control mombo zore part the control on this at the data so chiga chopo ta ngo shi pa ta tenji changja rim ha part the na li gari gap this at the mon chisho ta za san al cha de gore punja
and the otherwise he keeps talking. And so all of the unvirtuous actions, actually they're the negativities, what is called also the sin, right? Pecado, sin, right? And so all the sins are negativities. Actually, all the negativities are unvirtuous actions, activities that we do under the force of the afflictions or the bad states of mind. These bad states of mind or negativities are the mental states that agitate our mind and bring us problems. So let's take an example again of like when we are angry. So out of the anger that is within us, out of this anger, so we speak bad words, we scold people, or we kill, and we do so many bad actions, isn't it? But when we do this, like, it's not that we are happy in that moment, like we are agitated, and we are not even seeing properly the situation. And not only that, like we are completely agitated, and we are also transforming our surrounding to a very bad atmosphere, like. Out of anger, if a person is too angry all the time and stressed all the time and so forth, like nobody likes to be with us, isn't it? Like we have even less friends. And not only like people don't like to stay with us, but even our own health is harmed. Like we have, how to say, Tashi? Blood pressure, like blood pressure problems and so forth. So the main fault of that bad state of mind comes back again to us.
So tani control rachigla so chonza chegona so sem la patani tache chitanda moni troni control zasa the patsina zamuli mata semchanda mombo shure ta jamba cholos sha control zagmari so goyan tonya soria tuya ta so nyonyo chikngol kesha shetan mandwa ta tonda chunchu chichini tini control zade ore ni zatandra ochina chigmandri tezo gomeche pa chigla chigmandri te chigmandri tsachigla tinga so Kamba Zawa Shonzia, Chu Kamba Zawa Goma Relation Pasho, the Sakoma Relation, you might combat the ginger with the nausea, that's why in Nayan, such a glad detail, no poetry parlor, the Parishes are something to do, mine, Chikmandina Chitizopago, Chikmandina Chitizopagom, the Calicali, some Dembota Yapota Kipoch, sent by a Lolo Chandore.
And again, talking about anger, like actions together with anger, is like, of course, in this planet, maybe most of us, if not everyone, is really like we still have our the anger in our continuum, isn't it? Like, of course, we in this planet is plenty of angry people, but the most important, like, we have to look at our own continuum, at our own actions. So how much anger still I do have here, and how can I try to control my own own anger, like not try to pursue others in order to transform that, but how I can really like control and strain these actions from being like just pushed by pulled by the anger. Because sort of if you think like out of anger I speak, so I do or speak things like in a bad like bad words, or I do bad actions. It's sort of, imagine a house, right? Like let's say like the relationship between two people. If out of anger I scold him, and then he out of anger he scold me and so forth, it's sort of, imagine a house that we are taking the ground or the earth, the soil, from the foundation, from below the foundation of the house. So it's slowly each angry word or each scold and so forth, it's gonna take a little bit, day by day, action by action, is gonna take a little bit the foundation of that house until a certain point that each bad word is gonna take so much of the foundation of the house that that house is gonna, how to say, collapse. And so it's never gonna be up again. So likewise, if once out of anger, we can see before getting angry, like, oh, what is the fault of the angry attitude and so forth. If one can refrain, be patient. Patience means like to refrain, to not responding out of anger to that situation. If one can cultivate the patience and refrain responding in a bad way, and then the other person also will see the benefit of the attitude, and slowly out of inspire on you, and so it's gonna do the same, and then slowly that relationship will not collapse like the house.
So nga so control da ta nyu mombo je sama ta ti so ya recommendation ten control mabye so sani kyonji tsini tanda kyonji na la chik son de ta ka ti na je te go pe ya po chin du nga so tsukpa za sa ta le ka ti na tsukpa za on di pa shok la po chi zo kyang sam lo tang go re te chena tsukpa za sa kan de o re zo so sem go na ni ma control to ma cha jo ta tsukpa za sa tsama me pa zo ta chik pa re zini pe dan chi pa chi kyonji na la ching du te ka ti na samsam le je te go nga re ya pon tong du ten ri cheni nga so kyon de so ngoni zo gom che jo ta 파쇼고 페나 츠나 포치라오나 데코르 징난 징랭알 노야 치오 마리산 닝엘 테 랜드 치 마트나 파쇼 츠나 포팅알 체 람 키야 찬로 가스타 테 람산 레니 컨트롤 온다 파쇼 랭게 마토바 잠바 치카니 치카 말로나 나 마키 파조 사리 마키 파트 파 기니 티니 파조니 로자 코리 손자 자 컨트롤 제아데 소소 우타니 마좀 데르잖아 요몬 바치트 and
it's just like it's written in Bodhisattva's Way of Life of Shantideva. So in these advices of Shantideva, there is the chapter of patience. Patience is the best antidote against anger. Why? Because if one sees the faults of anger, and then by understanding these faults, and then cultivate patience. Patience, in the sense, just like we said before, like not trying to refrain any kind of angry action, any kind of bad face out of anger and so forth. If one really can refrain this, definitely many problems and many many collapse, many bad activities or many bad results will not come. And so if you really can cultivate again and again on the faults on the anger and patience, and so really one doesn't matter who's gonna meet and who's gonna encounter which kind of bad situations is gonna look from outside, because actually the conditions to our anger arise is infinite. Like we can consider all the planet and everyone as the conditions to our anger arise. But if you understand that it's not that actually he has to change, that person doesn't have to do that thing or that other thing and so forth. But if we understand that here in my own way of thinking, how can I transform and perceive that situation in a different way, and not and refraining myself to respond out of anger, then it doesn't matter which kind of bad person or with bad behavior we meet, that person will never cause us the very bad action, the very bad anger. And even though if we don't respond, sometimes we are okay in sense of not responding with anger, but it's still the anger is here, and so we cultivate the bad thoughts. This is already, you accumulate already the bad karma of anger, and actually just that agitation, the mind, agitation of mind out of your own anger, even if you didn't speak, like it's gonna create bad suffering on you. Like it's not gonna change the situation, but it's gonna create problem on you. So if you can really think again and again the faults and cultivate patience in daily basis, definitely it's gonna really benefit you.
Chiksheta jata ndopal jani yang tumpu chikshen tani jajaka pena nga tso tena jindo chandra wuchi yina so wutsani ndopa tama chonri chik tangjana kari shogli na pe yakpo chandra re te mani so ndopa ta chonzi che mato na nga tso zaya goya mambo re goya mambo desan kamba la so pata mata magpa kanjawa ina tsama goya kyangya rendi pena nga tso hako re navja jenda kyoroso tata songkwana nro ni chala chi nyo di chalo te yapo shiu jing tongore nyo ni yo gata che nyama chingi che yana che nyama ni sonro di telen do chakta meja chandro ten ti pa yu re jima ni ko ni ya ma tro tel tani koram tro che yang jo chi go re tendi che ti parshi golmo ge an mandai ka ngeri ta sembale ka ngeri so tema chi yo ya ta tan de jing du sam ni so den do pa khawa che sa na lo ki po ma se ki po yon ata tenji sonzan do pa le ata na chu na ni chen do cha ta kontro ni ka nyomon ba chi sho ni ze ge yo sonza te ni ma jing go no to na jamba to so ya bo shu cha yon ma se na le ta che sha ma ka cha ma shi na ma se corona lo ta sem ba lo ta na cha chi re ma yon ata nyo cha ma yon ata tenji le pen do chi mo yo re.
Other very important negativity that we accumulate is out of our attachment. And so out of attachment, like our this infinite desire that we have in our heart here, like out of this constant insatisfaction and infinite desire, like not fulfilling desire that we have. And so we engage in so many bad actions, and even like we crave to have more, better, and so forth. Like even imagine yourself when you go to the shop, in a very big mall, and then how your eyes and your wish and your craving and desires they increase in that moment. Like you look at that thing, like you first of all you want everything, and then besides of you wanted everything, you also like you buy the thing, and then you take it to home, and then after a few days, because out of the desire, the thing maybe is not of your need, and even if you need that, after a few days using that thing, then because it's out of the desire, and so maybe it's not the right thing, maybe it's not so beautiful, maybe I need even more or bigger or better, and so forth, and then you keep engaging in buying more, like this is just a craving. All of these actions is out of your attachment and craving. And this, if you really reflect on this, like that action, the action of any kind of actions out of desire, it's never let you like to rest in peace. Like you always are agitated, wanting more, and so forth. So you're also agitating your mind if you're doing things with out of attachment, out of greed and attachment. So that's why that we have really to cultivate contentment. Anything that you have, just try to cultivate as much as you can in daily basis. Like it's okay, what I have here is enough, what I just bought is enough, who is with me is enough, and so forth. Really like try to cultivate as much as you can, like contentment, because if you are content with whatever, as much or as less you have, like naturally you abide in a very relaxed way, in a very relaxed mind and so forth, and then that day that life is going to be much more happier and in relaxed fashion.
Well,
this is a little bit a very brief explanation out of this knowledge, and so maybe we leave open for questions, like general questions related to the topic or not. It's up to you. Otherwise, I can speak all the time. Questions, people at home and here also? Any kind of question? Are you sleeping? Yes.
Yeah, I think I have a question about patience.
Okay. Patience.
Patience, yes, because
Super cool.
I'm not sure what is it.
Yeah, super. Čuj ja podumani. Super kariris.
Ale, zopa aí. Lasso.
So what means patience? It's a very good question.
Zopa zeat control dosha tatanda wachil jaguar. Pashoni ts makiwa soso cheondi soso keche umari samni tilpa lo pamni lo control one the drum machine control lo ke kien den chena ze wor nanga ma chuji pechi ore zopa gomsali piuchi sore zeni tin shia chi do ngoni nam ji mi thama kol kukuja lama chembora kukuja jab cheni ta kol control on yen chi ma choi sara ta zopa te apon ro yo me ze piuchi chana jo de ke ni ta ba control ngora ta control langandu mandu tin tayar pa control on ye chi le on di tes control ti choni malani sem tara ranja lo de top sona zopa gom to bari control on ye ma choi kable ta dans se rea me tsamal ta control on ye pa choni tspa zanim me chi so ma ke pa la pa kya inari tsina po she inari so mando pig chawa ching thong yon di sem ma lo ine top sona zopa gom to bari de ma to ni tspa za sona zopa gom ma to ta ni chi re sam.
So patience actually is a very good. It's very important to have the proper understanding of what means patience. So patience actually is to refrain the respond out of anger. So even though if someone is scolding you, is giving you like so many bad words, is telling you lies, or if you are seeing things that you don't admire, that you think that it's wrong, and so forth. If you are seeing these kind of things, or you're receiving bad some informations against you, or false information, so forth, like if you that your chest become agitated and hot, so in that moment you don't respond, because out of the your response out of anger can harm not only the other person but also yourself. And so patience is the refrain, is the action of refrain against any kind of response or actions out of anger. And so it's the very direct antidote against anger. So patience is exactly opposite to anger. And why is that? Because we know that we all the time are exposed by bad actions and bad informations and bad scenarios, and people scold us or tell us bad things and so forth. But if we respond all the time, like it's not going to be beneficial to revert this, and it's just going to be harmful first to us. But on the hand, if we really try to cultivate this patience and understand the faults of our response out of anger. And so definitely, like when someone is telling us bad things and so forth, we just don't respond and we just don't agitate our mind. Slowly, that person also will not scold you anymore, will not create problems anymore to you. And not only that, like you rest in a very peaceful state of mind. Okay, and if you do this, also slowly, the person also will change, and the whole atmosphere, it will be more in ease and more harmonious. Okay.
No much jana digre. Tanda ngaso zopa goa gimsen rawo tapa de dawa tandi chi son yore tete chi jina sa so ngaso tandi control on vi kavla pa control on len jamna pent khomares zopa gom goris tanga so zopa gom to rali lawo chi gom to mara gom to jawlo le jimse mombo sawlo tana tani yon ya kar rezeti pena mi chi ngol chi shuni ngol ma chi zo sona ngi ngol pa ma chi zo to sona ngi ngol ma ta chandro yo na tan digre pa chi shu jana chana ta kamar ngi ma na ranja la de yo rezeta sik tara yo mar da tonda tara reta tanda padita songun. So
just an example. Let's say that someone kick us, okay? Kick us very strong, and then create a wound, open a wound in our shoulders. Let's say like that. So I become very angry against that person, against that action. And so if out of that bad actions, I open and wound was open here in my shoulders. And so out of my anger, I do back. And so either I kick back or I scold them or I yell and so forth. Like if it's beneficial to this wound heal, So it's okay. I can scream, I can yell, I can kick as much as I want. But even if I do this back, like the wound is gonna be here, isn't it? It's gonna be here. It's not gonna heal. So it's not gonna be beneficial to heal whatever the harm, or to not avoid, but to heal, to cure, to reverse the harm that I just received. So if I can refrain this, is important. But the action of the refrain action relies on reasons. And so first of all, we have to reflect using reasons. Why is it important to refrain any kind of angry action?
Asonta kengal chikshu ondi nga tsupa za tangal dungar chikcheni tsupa za yora ta tel phalen chikchana dungar chwa maze dungar mari ta ja ko sendal nyota semba makepa zo lima deva zo nyota cheri zo maze ta tse chima le yon te ta navjen gnar mang dungar samgi makepa ching yongres sonta zopa gomjana ta chi nyota ta tinin sam chen ro gore teli maje na nyota cheri control launch ke ge mari ro mato ma jinjang ra on ro to mari sonta zopa gomjana yakare zine opadi da tin son ro ma jipa
Dharmakirtirira. Dharmakirtirira.
Karse
Palten da
topa
Dharmakirtirira. Chandrakirti, okay. And so just like entering the middle ways text as Chandrakirti. And so what he says is it's very important to reflect in the faults of anger, because if we just keep responding, answering, reacting out of our own anger, even because someone is scolding us or creating bad actions against us, if I respond also out of anger, so actually the problem will just increase more and more. Like it's never gonna help to solve that problem, to solve that situation. On the opposite, like I create a bad situation to that person also will react against us exactly in the same level, and then actually the anger will increase more, and the problems also will increase more and more. So he said, it's very important to understand the faults. If you don't reframe our actions out of anger, so the problem will never come to an end. So in order to come to an end, to have an hope to really release in a better state, and so we have to first of all refrain from our side. Mm-hmm. Okay, you can make Shamita. You can make your question. Silvia.
Yes.
Oi. Yes. Oi, tudo bem?
Tudo bem? I think
Peraí,
my
não tô te ouvindo,
question
peraí.
is already...
Oh. Pode falar.
Okay. I think half of the question was response from this last one, but I want to share. I have some private situation. I live in Croatia, and I have one very serious situation with my mother-in-law. She was trying to kill me, and now I'm separate from the husband, but the husband still wants to connect. I move away, I'm a distance from her, but I'm wondering what I have to do for cultivate forgiveness and dissolve these kind of things, because it's not the first time that she did this. I remember in meditation that she could kill me in some past life, and now I really want to... I'm shaking my legs just to talk about this, and I want to be free of this, and I also want to ask
how to forgive the person who really harmed you so much.
And still now, I remember her. I feel some very bad things coming, So how can I do this? Which kind of mantras or what I can cultivate to make my self-protected, because I cannot move from here still. I have connection with him and he lives with her still. So, but I want to resolve because I feel that need to resolve, but I don't know how exactly to. Thank you.
Everyone listen? Yes? Okay. Thank you, Silvia. So kurangi tiwa diresra di konto tandrewa chimpo dwara perna ane ngomong in kyo kata kachel jeinda ine kurangi ama ngala halewa ducha mampo cheda cheson tahas duchara mares kogi ngala tema kashes no nisia tapshi tansons ane ngadu pope mampo ni cheda cheson titen paresra tananga niane kate cheinsra tanang nyamdu yomari tadun jewa yoda yoresra
ama
kurangi kyo yama ani kyo ka jewa yore mato kurantana kyo kara maresra ina ani kurangi re nanda kurangi lomba tandani ko Brazil mi resra ina kurangi kyo ka gi lomba la de yosa tiro la de yos ani dimasosa ni kurangi ama ngachepe Cepat samna tene lamsang kondo shuk cepat nang ezupot samani keransu shube kalsong ezupot samani targi dus ane karechini sana kyone da kolang kyone ne konsu shetuki mindusra chetuki kare labure ane konsu ane zogum chetuki mindusra dema sonsani di zokagom cheya tansani ko kurangi amara ane konsu shuya tansani ne tandi pet ane kemindus samlotaya bardura nga kareche gores ane molam gya gores ane mani drangores kareche gores kensina nye perdu netandi dukchares ra ine anga ngone da dukchadia netan dukchadia nga ngone sengido gidus ane kandes kola kandes ane nje par kiani par shara ane zopa korangum timindo kandes zopa gonto gire
reta nachu ngoni samlotanta chene che pensare Chokchigni ni samlo tawandi phashok ngala no pa rang re ma to ngala non chu me ta phasho ni nga du po shu chi tang re ze ora ta tel na chu samlo tang ta chi kari yor ze ti nga so le gem re ze ya te khelen go re nga so le mi chi kan de na po mombo chi ni ka ni mombo che de ya te chi chi na kyo nga mal pa chi kyang chi che yo je sa wa nyen ni phashok ya cha gyan chi chu ma yim ba so ten ri chi che ja ona tan sa ten ri chi che yo na yo le gem re ze ya te khor yo re samni Ti shoni ta chi che yo mari samni samlo chik tang impa tala nga so ta ki na jri control ze ya tan do cha ze ya ta to nga so wang ji chi che on di mi ta yomba na ji ta rawa kyuni me pa so ja khore pha sho te yang cha da mo sam ga rawa me pa wang ji che ni ngal du po tang ga che ore ti du po tang ali ti khoro che she mala nya wan ro re nga ki po me pa zo yo re te di che on di ta sha ta ko yang pa Tanda ko kep san ra de nyen ji ore ta ngali kyong chewa chi ra sa re sa ni tni nyang ji po mi andu chi sa lo tanda ra ni re ni samba sa no re
and so yes, it's true that these kind of situations, like very bad situations, they can happen, right? Like all of us, maybe we do experience this in our daily life. It's okay, it's true this. But from one aspect, if you can cultivate like what you're just speaking here a little bit before, that is everything actually is just all the experience that we have now here is just the result of some previous actions. And so maybe she's trying to do it, she did try to do some very bad things against you, but maybe this is just a result for you to experience, because maybe, or with a very high chance of being true, that actually you also did this against her in some other time, and so this is just like receiving back the same action, the same nature that you already did this before. I mean, in many lives before, and so forth. From one aspect, this is really true, and you can, if you cultivate this, reflect this again and again, you can be a little bit more you can have more understanding of that very bad situation from one aspect, okay? And second, just like we said also, since all the bad actions or negativities or all actions, when it's impelled by this kind of afflictive minds, like attachment, anger, and so forth, like we are just like following the force. We are being impelled by the force of these afflictions. So definitely, if we are doing all the actions, or if we are living out of the force of these afflictions, so of course, like we do random things, bad things, and then we just act completely like with no freedom, because we are just under the force of the afflictions, not under the force of our own wish. We are being sort of slaves of these of these afflictions. And then of course, like we behave as a little bit crazy people, like not stable people, right? And all of us, we are exactly like that when we are under the force of these afflictions. And when we do these actions out of attachment, anger, and so forth, like we engage in negativities, in bad actions that will also lead us to again have experienced this kind of the same sensations or the same experience in the future. And even like out of anger, I can try to do something, and I can take rebirth in the hell. And if I cultivate patience out of these virtuous actions, I can take rebirth in a very good state of life. And not only rebirth, like even in this very lifetime, like we can experience this life with more or less agitated mind if we cultivate patience, or the opposite if we keep engaging in bad angry actions, and so anger and so forth. And so if we cultivate this understanding using reasoning, like cultivate these understanding reflections again and again, like you actually naturally and slowly naturally, like you be more patient and also more understanding of what is going on with you and with her actions also. And even like you can generate like more compassionable and caring, loving, caring attitude, thoughts towards her, not like like looking down with poor of her. It's not like that. Like coming from your heart. Oh my God! If she keeps doing this, she also have a bad rebirth or bad experiences. And so, if you can reflect on this, slowly, your anger will also be more pacified.
Tani tanda Asia na jiri tanga so tani kangi chinche ondi ta fan zopa gomatom ni chin soso the yarkan ji to kono pashol pamkan ji che gono tani sha gora ta yarka soso yarka ngoni te to ata pashol pamkan ngoni ji gona ta kechashini ramantuna soso lokache ta yakore ro mi kashil kechashini rakyoni mancho andwa tani lokache soso dena yashore ta ngama manjwa ta saulo ta na chichela ta kinaji cheni so ngama pamandru pache sari ngama mandru pache na tinament the sendel tol meat pe opos ngama son the touching joy kenga lam kerzere sendel tol kangi mombon chena jima nyawa ta na son la so bi dingar chachimbo chi monyowa normal la sa ta ndo tandi kenga lam kerze at teze wor ngama the touching joy tandi ya yon severe ta teli jima la tandi cho pa tandi che manyoni koro tandi che ina no korongu Saja pina man the corol till Janja Tonja Jimakang, the Korongo Younger Mato, Ketel, Shelling, Tautelin, Kandro Gomari, Tata Korongo Younger, so desatini, Zogomchini did it, a Yarka Chesho, the day Mongichoni Yomar, Yarkangoni, the day Tom Doris, also Jimalio, Kangi Manchetanda Loche, Yarkazina, kept sound the Soso, kept Sangoni top song, Samna, Zogomchinia, the Coroche. Nyomongi mtamra mombo chiche sarita takino cheni test ya larsoni che yo marta pa usual samna tetendi sembal hulu ndo che andro.
And also, for example, in your case, like since you cannot leave from this country, like his country and so forth, at least for now, yes, it's important to be apart, and it's important to be distant from the cause of temporarily this bad situation, right? And so it's important and it's healthy, it's okay, so no problem if you just live your own life like separate and distant from this person that agitates you, and then you are the cause for the agitation in her mind also. It's important, so just from one side. And also if you can cultivate and then if you can cultivate also or reflect using another reasons, that is well, since I'm receiving this suffering or these problems or these difficulties, if I'm receiving this bad action, this bad action is just a result of something that I did in the same level, in the same nature before, okay? Probably to that person, probably not for sure, but for that person. So actually, the action that I did before, bad action that I did before to that person, could lead me could have led me, how to say this in English, could have led me,
allowed me,
or led me to take rebirth in a very bad state of life. Like I could have taken rebirth, for example, in the health, or in any state of life that has much bigger suffering. But I'm just having this kind of suffering, and so if you just see from other perspective, and so like, oh, maybe it's good that I received this suffering now within this in this aspect, with this fashion, because, well, if I'm receiving this result now, so that bad action is already being matured, and whatever is mature is already done here. And so if I understand that I can receive the result of my bad actions before like this, it's also fine. I could have to experience much more suffering, could be this. And so also you posit the perception of your problems in a different way, okay? And then and also you can put yourself in the shoes of the other person. Oh, so out of my own bad actions, I induced the other person to keep taking again and again bad actions against me. So now she's creating new karma for her to experience in her future the same nature bad experience. So I create, because I am the cause to her, I'm the condition for her for her to cultivate or accumulate new bad karmas for her to experience bad sufferings in her future. And so, oh my God, so I'm being the conditions for her to rebirth in the hell or in a very bad state of mind with a lot of suffering. And so if we think like that, and so let me try to do as much as I can in order to not be the conditions of other suffering, and also try to take them like the good side of the whole situation that is happening to you now. Okay? For you also okay? Yeah.
Singapore
There is one question from Singapore.
Understand that husband and wife, parent and children, karmic connection is very strong. How to cut such condition in the next life? If a couple divorced in this life, does that mean that karmic connection is finished?
Okay, husband and wife. So they when they split, so how to get rid of this relationship for the future. But what about the kids?
Bad relationship between husband and wife, parent and children, the karmic connection is so strong. How to cut such connection in the future life?
For the future life, even like parents and kids, when the relationship is bad, I guess.
And if a couple divorced in this life, does that mean that their karmic connection is finished? And
okay. Ani tandani jelam kola. Tiwa ya basa. Ani the Singapore kitiwa yeres penan de jelam da kyoka tan kemen ni ani mitseti nala taran kuso kyoka tan kemen ani chasora chikchina ni kensana da kuso ki jewa pe shukchempo ani jelam le shukchempo ni pension le shukchempo yoba sonsa ni mitseti la kuso kyoka kemen chason si chikchira dina shinkel si ani pugu ani pugu tampa mani si yang ani jewa pe shukchempo dwa ani ngoma ki le la tene pakcha la tene ani jewa shukshe chaimba sonsa ni mitseti la kyoka kemen pa mani pugu ni tagaran chares ina yang ani kelsi ta tandarang skoso pamani sani puguni jewa yona ani kyo ngama kyo jema ni jelandi le karismon le shukshempo dis ani me pa zogire bes me pa chadrogire bes yana krisi kyo tanke meni katel
ta le nan da chigma to yore veterwa to chin
re zo konso ani le shukshempo la tene konso na jelam shukshempo chaidwa ani krisi dallo mare mitseti la tagaraina pena krisi pamani tam puguni ni jewa yapomena da dikson sane yang mom pa yang kirana kunyani pugutan pamani yang kya konso keas 아니 세조기레베스 차르기레베스 야메나 기억하던 게면 단나 콘소 카트르체네 마음파 콘소 젤라미 양케르 콘소 양케르 투고레베스 도이나 양케르 투고레베스 야메나 베차레
하고서다 때 셰스로닌도
Actually, there are two ways of explaining this.
지금 기와치인데서 레치크 기와치근 제와 마토더니 몸범 배와 지금 펜체클레기 차니시나 야 기와 몸범을 펜자가 된지 직신도 다단다 근 제와 같이 조체클레기 차니면로 조체클레이 나요 다 다들이 무시시마도는 직설이 조크 셰서 직당 원바 공 같은 원바 공세야 지고 셰서 직직만 그 요 말이세야 직당 요 기와 납자들이 든지 요래세야 각 셰서 님도 단 더디나 렌테로와
Well, so there is inati namsanidwa.
남자님도 야 지금 기와 직세온디 그런 야 지금요 가리 레스치크 기와 납자들이세야 든지
Well, there's two ways of understanding this. That is, first, maybe they have this very strong connection in this life, because out of one propelling karma from the past life, and so one karma from the past life, this impelled to this life, that they have this kind of very strong connection. This is one thing. So what means that if in the previous life they had this very strong connection, and so the result is going to be just in one life, and then definitely this kind of relationship, good or bad, but this kind of relationship is extinguished within this very lifetime. That's one thing. The other way of understanding, because we just have to understand, we are not sure of anything, but is if they are just together out of the impelling karma, or also out of the consumption karma, that is when at the time of taking birth within this very life, and so out of the time of taking birth of this very life, so the karma, the propelling karma that impelled your rebirth, drove you to in the future, some years later, to meet that person, or to take birth to that kid, and so forth. Sometimes this kind of karma also impels many times the result in many lifetimes. So you can understand, we can see that the reality of the karma like that.
Actually,
yes, and I can tell you, like in the monastery, we debate so much about this kind of question, because how many lifetimes one karma is extinguished, and so forth.
Yeah,
we cannot say when it's gonna be extinguished, and so forth. Ina dapat ni pamanyitang pugu jewa dukcha ina yang ani pugu yang ani kiwa jema ni halewa ni dukcha taran chayong ireda.
That ko letig ni pato kiwa chik pansana le chibuti ni pato ni zonro ashia ta zomoto ashia ta ni.
And also, for example, if the bad relationship within this very lifetime actually is the maturation of the previous karma, and so that previous karma is extinguished. But because you have a bad relationship, and so you engage in bad actions, and so you are creating the karma for the next lives in the same nature. And so.
Chiki on the go and toti coast Gondro, Shindon, Tanda Shintoke Sandina, Talo Shintoke San, Tindi Domandani Chasomare.
Maybe you can also relate as the example in the agriculture example. That is, if you plant rice, like from one seed of rice, and so one plant of rice grow and it's gone, isn't it? But if you plant one seed of orange, and so gives rise to a tree of orange, and then after all the seeds within the orange, it's gonna create a new trees of oranges. So maybe it can be like that. Okay.
So,
What if an action is good or bad?
If what?
If an action will bring good or bad karma, like in the smaller actions of life, it can be subjective. Like, is it motivation? Is it if you harm someone else?
Like what?
Like, I can give an example.
Okay.
Like, let's say someone goes to Africa to volunteer with kids. It's supposed to be a good action, like it's doing charity. But these kids get touched and then he abandon them after like a few months or few weeks. And then they're left with bad feelings. So is it a good action or a bad action? Like, there are so many others.
Okay. Ani datana ni gena pema puson sora. Ani chawa yak potan ducha ni siam dua. Ani chawa yak potan ducha di kawala to gyure. Ani kulunla to gyure, chawa to gyure, perna kersi Africa dua na sacha dua. Ani par koso pango srami dua ni mi kyopola. Ani nga so ropa che dura pugu de tsora pugu ni pama mingyogi pugula ropa che dur pado ropa ches ina ya pugu ni sosla pe chakpa shukche po chado gires che na kotsani pama mingyo stavo ani kran pado so no mala parlo ani pugu de tsoko so pe sempane so pe de shukche po che gires de ina ni chawa disra talanto ne konso ropa chenane chawa ya pore duchare sa chawa ya potang ducha ani himbe chanera sa kawala to gires kandes mo zinchegire
re tate chawa ya posi gojere ro chawa ya posi gojere karezina su jela pensem ku chawa kani loni jela pembi le ka chian che sarwa o te che sana chawa ya wa yimbari su ni karlon go ni zagyo re ta karlon chupo so karlon ya po yin samna samba samgata ya posi mare ta tate musu samlo ya po re la jamba pen tongro ra pen to ala tini jimayo ta tendri ka chayon ro ti kangi chingchaya ta yore ta te samgo yo tendri joni message ta re mari counter ta so chawa ya po ingiri su jempeng ga samlo zeni nga su chawa ya po te ngonze gorta na chu china ya koro so ya so mombo chi chege yora sama ya po re chi kendra marta ta chulu ki china ko deshon ra ta jempeng dare sewa me pagle ka ta su ni nga so navja ginda che toya jempeng li yaksho sama che atwa ta mala no mikiwa ta gacha nga so la pali yore no mikiwa ni no pa ma chena te jel pento chia
Parkour yang ani ngargel to nye ani tawa klisi konso ngala nyena konso yapo ingires konso ngala ma nyena atsi dia poram induz nga so jewa chadro gires da uda de kabla yani chawa yapores mare khande to pena klisi nga so ngargel nga yapo shingiosra de maso sa konso nye pardo nga nyengore sra konso ma chena atsi dia poram induz shi yamena nga Sempandro gires, chadro gires, yamena nga nuna gido satsi dar pacha pentu chiamidos, konso amche nyimidos shiti yang yo separati ramaki I just gave a follow-up of your question. And so, yeah, actually, the example that you gave, like going to Africa to volunteer, to the poor, to orphans, for example.
Yeah, but that's an example.
Yeah, I know. So let's work in this example, okay? And so and then after leaving them and so forth. Well, first of all, if the motivation that the person to go to Africa to help the needs and so forth, just out of that motivation that is beneficial. If the motivation, the mind, or the intention that you generate before going is a beneficial motivation, is a genuine beneficial motivation, definitely is a virtuous action. It's a good karma or virtuous action. Okay, definitely. Of course, like if we go help, and sometimes yes, attachment comes and so forth, and then when we separate. We become a little bit, or frustrated, or not frustrated, a little bit sad and so forth. This happened, but it's not out of these sensations that the action will turn into bad action and so forth. Because actually, where lies the quality of good and bad action, or good and bad karma, lies in your motivation of being beneficial. So if you genuinely, without expectation, try to, as much as possible, help the other person, and if you cannot help, at least don't harm any kind of word and action that you take, at least not to harm that person or that situation. And if you see that it's possible to help, you do engage in helping that situation and person, definitely that action is beneficial, it's good karma. And then And then you can do, and then if you, and then I just follow up to him that yes, it's true like that, but sometimes out of our either arrogance or even like too self, not just confident, arrogant self, but I know better, so I know what that person is better to that person, and so they have to listen to me because I know this. And so what about this kind of actions that sometimes we, out of our arrogance, that we say, you know, I know better, I know how to help and what is better to them, and then we try to impose our opinion, and then even if the person doesn't listen to us or don't do whatever we try to explain to this, and then we became frustrated and even like angry against that situation or that person because that person didn't listen to us, and so how is this situation? I ask him. Kelsiani ngargel tonera ngargel nga ya pushingisra ani ene tanti yamena kangel di ani sele chedusra o ngeshingi ani ngeshi ani konsomanina atsi yamena ngalung la yamena semshu chadu teresa ani yankara ropa machena yagare atsi da yusha daudo ani chawadi karedes chaw yapu yamena chadu cha
te sangi chodendi sonyora lepertala ngai ka launch kichme saura so laksa namda ka pha yapoji she gore ra penji ka tosa ni she te nyemani kwel so la pal gyacha gyate gore ma to te nga saulo ta yo mar sanji choden di nga so la pal ma ni kheta ma che ri ta nga so te ta che on cha ka yo te ka standa ngi she at manye de san nga chik sam de ngi non chik
well, and so actually just like Buddha said, well, I'm going to say anything that I experience, that I have as understanding, but the application of whatever I say or whatever I share with you guys is up to you. And so likewise, if we, out of our own pure motivation, genuine, pure motivation, we try to help that person, that situation. So this is already creation of good karma from our side. But to expect that advice or that talk or that experience that we share is being really complete, done, experienced, practiced by the others, like it's 100% on the hands of that other person. Like we don't have any right to really impose to others to really try to do something different. And this is really like arrogance, and so that's not good. So even like Buddha couldn't make everyone to do whatever he said, and so leave aside our own sharing of ideas and so forth. Fala, Silvia. Oh, sorry, I'm speaking in Portuguese.
I think it's too late. I don't know, but he says that we cannot expect when this karma will vanish, like finish. No? But I've been doing like trying to send lots of lights and compassion for her, but trying to do like a good karma, helping like a shelter for dogs and helping others around to create my new birth in another condition. I'm just asking if it is the right way, or I have to do something directly to her, or if I do this, continue doing this, I can help to making a bad karma, making a better birth. That's my question.
Oh, dayan ki mitiwa tagarang sa dayan ki nga ngata ni kyoga gi amadwa. O danga ni dra halewa du chadwa sani ko te patsam la tena ni nga ngune kondo sa gido tana zupo dar gidwa. Ani ine ang tensang nga chawa kari chigyo sana ani kola kadu kola tempa zona. Ani udwa karpo la sopa ni nina ni kurang la nga choya nga mik pa chigyosra ani ko tepe dice ani kola nga karpo dwa
wento
ocho davos nga zoya tapshitangyosa ani digang la yang tra nga ni joya mare ani digang la yang da semchin shempa nga ropa chigyos penani ki la sopa dwa semchin shempa nga ropa chigyos ani chawa di nila tene kiwa ngama Chichina yapu yunya tang sani kangelti selegi tap dauras. Tinga pichutang yus dadan chawati ni kanga che yus. Yamena utu yana ni simchin shembagi ropache zra. O chawati ni ka gyuntune chena pengire pengio mare. Tanange kangelti. Kotange amati.
Le gyumre chani shina kandri lago. Ta chetani gesa kar chena yo nga so narmang rewa chongrin ro at keleng yoro ten sonsa semche jela ropa che at so to magewi narman takayo jeri yembare tani won chuan ro tani gom gyo na tas chochini so samlo ne kawla kapcho jawan ro tani chig rewa mag yo le narman ta tani la won chuan ro tani gom na rewa ayon yo samara ina yanta semche jel pento che tendi chena chamse te kati ina semle yang kor de una tini kali makasa ta sole control the chongri ro ata selina chamse ro che de na pa shok ngaso su te chamse gombi kapsa ngaso sama chikba yin sam gore pa shok te ake ga nan che ro me pa na kora jab de ngaso le zorta mandrawa ta Shea da na titso mandrawa chi re mo tama te ke gana chi kora jav do ti chamse gomya jimse su tero tani samni chamse ra gom tani chena tani so choche ni so nar me ta kare la choche ni sim lo changro kontro se ati amu kisem kila samlo tan te saman ri ro te se gicho jana pen to yo kire
well maybe first of all like helping other beings like dogs and so forth that is beneficial for you. Yes, it's beneficial, definitely. Like, there's no harm on helping like sentient beings, dogs, and so forth. But the benefit that is coming to you maybe is gonna lie in a different nature, not necessarily like it's gonna reduce the bad relationship that you have with her, but it's gonna bring you other benefits. And think like emanating light and so forth. Well, if you can emanate light, like try to use this visualization or this practice, emanating light or emanating love or and so forth, not only towards her, but towards everyone else, of course, also is beneficial, but in a very, very tiny way, I can tell you. Maybe the benefit is very, very small, if there is benefit on this. Because actually, what is beneficial, what is very important is for you to change the way that you perceive and think that situation. So this is the only thing that is really gonna help you to transform all of this, right? If you don't transform this, if you don't change the way that you think about the situation, that you perceive the situation, that you don't understand the whole picture as you explained before, and so definitely maybe any kind of nice and fancy actions and so forth, maybe it's gonna just help you for you to relax in that moment that you're doing the practice, but it's not gonna transform what is causing the problem on you, okay? And so if you really can change the way of thinking, and how to change the way of thinking, please try to cultivate in daily basis love and compassion, cultivate, meditate, practice, reflect on love and compassion, and how to do it. Like, first of all, try to understand that all of us actually, we are exactly the same. We want exactly the same. So we are running, cycling out of the same afflictive emotions. That's why we are engaging in bad actions again and again, and not only other people. Like, you have to look to your own life and your own actions and so forth. And so just like you do the bad actions out of ignorance, so others do the same. But you don't want to suffer, just like others don't want to suffer. And so understand this is crucial. And out of this also to generate understanding, compassion, love towards others. This is gonna be like really the best antidote, the best method or technique for you to reduce that anger that lies still on you. And so, and it's never going to be too quick, like slowly, if you reflect again and again. And so it's going to pacify a little bit this agitated mind.
That's
because actually, sorry. Because actually, today she is your mother-in-law, like very bad mother-in-law that you are input and labeling like that. And probably you're the same to her, the very bad ex, what's the name?
Daughter-in-law.
Daughter-in-law and so forth. But I mean, we are just different faces. We are just occupying different bodies. But actually, we've been already so many times the opposite. And we will continue to be many times the opposite. And so we are just cycling out of our own ignorance. And so just try to reflect on the faults of the anger and try to reflect with love that is better. Okay, come.
That's all.
Okay, we still have time if more people want to do things. Nobody? Any action? in daily routine penada nga nitinara paru planning so sheda ya pomendo penadanga so tanda pe de tori pe tista un po momato shema tani pe tarimpo rera nga so intargi ciao la tene ma po samlo matando ane pe tarimpo ani con so padro yamena konso di cena ya potues yamena ane mishemba di cena ya porang mindoas ine ngazo Nima chiginala. Chawa katso yapoches. Muone. Chawa katso yapoches. Muone chawa duksha katso cheson. Dinga so namgyung ane ngozin chena kyun lao mindwa. Ane yamena ngazo chengido mindu. Yamena machina yagareu. Yamena ne kadu ina chirala.
Nima tabal so sem tache chet zero.
Nga so sem mani kyun ta che yo marera. Hakosa ina namgyung penani tana konso pe tagarara. Shemba yamena tarimpo matos. Ko ani chipo ani soso. Muone soso kanyel shesa mato shema che da shema sa. Dicene nintargi muone chawa kantes muzin chegire yamena muzin chena kel chempore chishi mato ni mitsedina la tagarani lolo yongi o marera. Dicene ni kantes muzin chegore chishi.
Tete nabje sem tache cheze ate te ori jok ngamoni karlon chu bomba gengo cheze ni ngaso na chundizina te chegora jok ngamoni tatri nyama chiktala samlo nga control tan chapala so pe wande che mani samlo ya pota le kada so ya po chi che ye san ni jok nga mo de la samlo te tan ni nyen ma ta ban nyen te nyen kang de la zav ya po chi chi kan to che na kyon da shora mombo nyen control mombo lang nyom gonda ni kala kan nyama chi kle jim ji che tri karin jugmundu karin jingdu chikta mandri sa te so lo ta tri tendi shon do san ni tendi che tani yak po chong sa te so gen mo ji du po chong sa te ngyo sha ji na jin ro tan ro te re tani control ta te so la so pal mandrik te san control za ta yak bo mundu samni ka ti na chen den sam sam malam nal tani malam ni tsu pa zan onga control za so yak bo mundu samni tani ya chen do so za tani na sha gen de lu kom gore mo sem ziatli lawo chi ge chu cha to a chi mari kom shi nga so ta chul ki chena nyomon la kom shi che sare ze gora te inger wa kan ta gyap chi ga to mo do watene de chi re nya jan chi kan ro tan
and also it's very important to reflect in our very daily activities, like from morning when I woke up and then until nighttime when I go to sleep. It's very important to recollect whatever action we took in that day, with which kind of genuine motivation, not try to avoid any fault from us and try to point the faults of everyone else, or think in a very far distant examples. Like we really have to take ourselves as the person to be tamed, and the actions and activities that has to be observed. And so if from morning time when we wake up, like if you can try to generate on daily basis the motivation of, okay, so today, at least today, any kind of word that I speak, any kind of thought that I generate, any kind of physical actions that I take, at least may I not harm anyone in any kind of level. And if I can try as my best, at least to benefit others, let me try to do it. And then I go for my day. Of course, in that day, many mistakes will come. Many activities will, like I slip into bad actions again. What means bad actions, as you asked before? Those actions impelled by attachment, anger, arrogance, jealousy, and so forth, resentment, and so forth. All of these all actions impelled by this afflictive mind of this bad minds, of course, are negativities. And so nighttime, so you sleep in many bad actions. Okay. And then nighttime, before going to sleep, then try to recollect all the actions that you did. Oh, so today, how many, among all of the activities that I engaged, all activities of the 3 doors, and so everything that I thought, everything that I spoke, everything that I really did. So when we can, if we can really understand what was the bad activities under attachment and so forth, and what was the pure good activities. And then when you see the bad activities, you really try to see the fault of those activities and try to really from your heart regret. Okay. Try to generate regret. This is very important. And after regretting, try as much as you can, like generate that intention of, okay, today I did this bad. Okay, tomorrow let me try to at least refrain a little bit the strength or the duration of that bad actions that I did yesterday and the day before and so forth. And then those actions that you saw that you did in that day that were beneficial and so forth, rejoice. Like really harm yourself. Hug yourself. Hug yourself in the sense of really like, yes, you did right. And so rejoice on this. And then try to multiply that kind of nature of actions again and again. If you can do this, it's already good enough. But you have to think in your own actions, not just very far.
This is our government.
Okay. Okay, and so if you have any more questions, you can send by the WhatsApp group and or to the next Sunday. Okay? Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much, everyone online and here. Okay, thank you.
Geshe. Thank you, Anila.
谢谢。
谢谢。
谢谢 Geshe 啦，谢谢 Anila.
Oh, yes. Just wait, don't go. And another thing also that Geshe Gelsen is reminding us. So if anyone here has time also on Tuesday. And so today is Sunday. So the day after tomorrow on Tuesday from 3 to 4:30, so 3 to 4:30 here. So it's coming one monk that is gonna share with all of us how he healed all of his emotional and mental problems. So he had a very, very strong, deep, bad state of mind, like some mental problem and so forth. And so how, just by changing the way of perceiving, just changing the way of thinking, how he really, first of all, how he went through all the problems and how he healed these kind of problems. And so if you want also to listen from this experience and more reflections, all of you are welcome, okay? We will send the link and everything. Yes, and tell everyone. This is Tuesday, and we have every Wednesday and Friday for 4 to 5 class also with Geshe Rangrig here. Okay, so everyone is all welcome. Okay. Yes, and if you want, let's take picture. People at home, you not come to the picture. Sorry. Okay.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Oh, yeah.
Bye.